My name is Brianna Lawson, and welcome back to my second episode over here on Becoming Brie. And today we're going to get right into today's discussion, which is you cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay, there are too many examples of watching very strong women go through life and literally pouring from a cup that they aren't even replenishing when that cup is yourself. It's super hard to give your best in anything that you need when you are pouring from an empty cup. So a lot of times questions come about like, well, how do I refill my cup? How do I know when my cup is empty? Like, what do I do when I get in these scenarios? And a lot of times, sometimes we just get so into operating that we don't even see how we are not refilling ourselves so that we can present our best selves at work, so we can present our best selves in motherhood, so we can present our best selves in our friendships, in our sisterships, in our inner circles, everywhere that's important to us. We want to be able to show up as our best self, and you can only do that if you are constantly pouring into you at the same time so that you can show up to be your best self. If you are constantly giving to others without refilling your own energy, you will eventually burn out. Prioritizing yourself, whether that's through rest, self care, or personal growth, ensures you have the capacity to show up for others without draining yourself. So there are three areas in there: rest, self-care, and personal growth. You have to do things for all three of those areas in order for you to keep yourself as your top priority. So, making sure you look good, making sure you feel good, make sure your skin care routine's intact, making sure your hair looks good, making sure your face looks good, making sure your hands and your feet look nice. Like, those are all ways to refill your cup, because what happens is we can get trapped into a cycle where we are constantly doing and constantly giving to others, and we're not giving ourselves the attention that we deserve. And then when that happens, it can make you resentful towards the people that you have to do things for. In my life, I keep myself at the center, okay? I have to make sure that I am 100% good to make sure that I can be good for anybody else. The first people that I give to endlessly and effortlessly are my girls. I have two girls, they are 2 and 9. I can't do anything for them if I'm running around on E, if I'm drained, if I am not feeling like my best, because motherhood requires such a huge amount of your attention that it's easy to just get lost in the sauce. You can get lost in the sauce of life and all these things can happen to you. However, if you keep yourself as a priority, you're able to maintain all of your hats a little bit more easier. So being that I am constantly there for my girls, no matter what the situation is, I make sure that I look good and that I feel good, because those two things go together for me. When I look good, I feel good. When I feel good, I'm able to do all the things that I need to do. So a part of refilling my own cup, I journal. I have hobbies. If it's just at the end of the day, sitting in silence and just refilling, going over the day and what happened and journaling that and getting that out, or if it's a really good workout or making myself a really good, nice dinner, just making sure that I spend adequate time with myself. That's a part of me refilling my cup, because when I feel like I have spent enough time with myself, I'm able to give endlessly to the people that deserve it the most, which in my life are my children. In your life, that could be whoever, but in my life, that's who I give myself that freely to. And I always want to make sure I give my girls my best self. There are certain things that are not always attainable. Like, you're not going to have the perfect day where you can get all your things done all the time. But if you have main goals for yourself, like, okay, I want to get up and work out in the morning, I want to have a good breakfast, I'm going to do things to make my day easier so that I can be there for them and be attentive to them the way that I need to be, that works wonders for me. Also, when you keep yourself at the center, you're constantly in check with where you are at during the day, so you can know what level that you're operating from. A lot of times we talk about operating from 100%, and you're not gonna give your 100% does not look the same way every day. Some days your 100% can be like, I'm on it, it's 100, da da da. Other days you're giving 70, other days you're giving 60. Some days you only have 30 or 20 to get. But you can only know that that number when you are paying attention to yourself. And although it's super easy to get caught up in these roles where we're constantly giving and that makes us feel good, if you come to the end of it and you're overstimulated and you're overwhelmed and you're tired and you're burnt out, you're just not going to be able to do those things. You're not going to be able to keep pressing forward. And that's one thing that we have to do in life is we constantly have to press forward no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on, no matter what challenge is being thrown at us. Okay? Point number 2, a strong mindset equals resilience. When you invest in your confidence and mindset, you become more adaptable and equipped to handle challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by setbacks, you'll see them as lessons and you'll continue to move forward. How powerful is that? A lot of times, we don't realize that until we get to a certain point, life is full of challenges, and it's all about the way that you're able to navigate those challenges. You could have dealt with things 5, 10 years ago that were like super huge deals, but today, if you still had to deal with those things, they would not be as big to you because you've dealt with much harder things since then. And so, being able to keep your mind sharp and making sure that you are resilient and you can bounce back, that's how we continue to go forward. It's just putting one foot in front of the other, looking at the day that you have in front of you, and being able to attack that. You don't have to take more than what's in front of you because at the end of the day, we only control ourselves. We don't control other people. We don't control what they say. We don't control their behavior. Kids, men, friends, none of that. We literally have control over ourselves. And I think that that is one of the most empowering things that I had to realize on my own, because for a long time, I wanted to have control over everything in my environment. And that's just not the case. You're not able to do that. Nobody's able to do that. And then what happens is when you spend so much time trying to control all these elements, you end up stressed out, burnt out, overstimulated, and you can't show up as your best self because you're too busy trying to control everything inside of that. And you're not in control. Once you accept that you're not in control and you actually see what you have control over, you're able to maneuver a little bit better. But keeping your mind strong is what keeps you in the game. So it's like no matter how many times I could fall on my face, I know that I'm going to get back up. So you might get some licks in, you might get some hits in, there might be some challenges that really take my breath away. But at the end of the day, when I go to bed at night, I pray that I'm able to get up the next morning so that I can continue to keep going, because that's important. You want to keep going. You don't want to stop. You don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck in cycles and patterns and get trapped. You never want to feel like life is trapping you somewhere. And too many women are walking around feeling like someone has trapped them somewhere when it's really your job to get you unstuck and untrapped. That's not a word, but like, you know what I'm saying. Point number 3, you set the standard. When you put yourself first, you teach others how to treat you. You also inspire those around you to do the same, creating a ripple effect of self-respect and empowerment. Now, this is something that deeply resonates with me because I like setting the standard for how people come into my life and treat me. And because I have lived through experiences where I wasn't being the best person to myself, I allowed different people in my space. Those people were allowed to manipulate me because I was going through such tough things. They were able to present themselves a certain way. My discernment level wasn't at its highest, so I wasn't able to see what that person was trying to do. So like when people see that you let people walk all over you, or they see that you're not equipped to stand up for yourself and you just kind of let anything go, you're teaching them that that's okay and that's acceptable to you. I had to learn those things were never acceptable to me. And I could not look at myself and know that I was allowing these sorts of experiences to happen to me without being like, what are we going to do to change it? So when people see that you treat yourself well, when they see that you look good, when they see that you have boundaries, you have standards, they know that if they don't meet them, they're not going to be able to approach you with nonsense. It just doesn't happen. So you are in total control of setting the standard for your life and then allowing who gets access and who does not. Okay. Point number 3, Happiness fuels motivation. When you take time for your passions, health, and well being, you feel way more fulfilled. That inner happiness translates into motivation, making it easier to stay consistent in life and reach your goals. You're not going to feel motivated every day. You're not going to have someone knocking on your door saying, hey, eat all the right food. Hey, you got a workout scheduled today. Hey, we have 3 meetings today back to back at work. Or you have to deal with, like, I have worked personally a lot of client facing roles. So a lot of my work history goes back to some sort of customer service. You're not able to give people the best customer service if you're not motivated, and you're not going to be motivated to do anything every day. So that's where your happiness comes in, because if you're making time for your hobbies, if you're making time for your passions, if you are looking after your well-being, if you are being disciplined over yourself, then that's always going to motivate you to keep going. The minute that you stop and you let those negative voices in your head tell you that you're not good enough, tell you that you're not smart enough, tell you that you're not strong enough, tell you that why are we working so hard? We're just going to be in the same place all the time. Once you start letting that negative talk overcloud your head, that becomes an issue, that becomes a problem, right? And our minds are here literally to keep us comfortable. So anything that we do to make us uncomfortable, our mind is automatically going to think of like the worst case scenario so that we stay exactly where we are. And there's no growth in staying exactly where you are. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to maneuver. You have to be able to look on the other side of things. And so when we're talking about keeping yourself as the priority and keeping your cup filled, you have to know what keeps your cup full. And we're human beings. So all of this stuff is not going to be applicable every day. But if you know, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, you have to set the roadmap for you to do that. And then if you have a goal in your mind and you can visualize in your head what you want, you're going to fulfill it. I have personally done that. I have been in the position where I won a really big contest, right? I won a Tone It Up challenge. It was like a weight loss challenge. However, it was very, very personal. Like, there was a lot of reflection. There was a lot that went into that contest outside of just losing weight. And so I answered a lot of personal questions about myself, and I was really dedicated to it. But I also visualized the grand prize. Now, the grand prize was I think it was like a total of 3 islands you could choose from. You went all expenses paid, got to take a friend with you, like you were gone for a week. It was amazing. I would envision myself on the beach. Anything that I've ever wanted in my life, I've been able to obtain because I can see it so clearly for myself that I know that it is mine. I know I don't have that vision for no reason. So once you have a vision in your head, you work towards what you see, no matter who believes you, who doesn't believe in you. Just like with my YouTube channel, just like with this, like, I have seen myself doing this for so long that I was just like, I have to start. There's no way that I can keep sleeping on myself. And because I make myself the center, this is something that also fulfills me. This is something that I do when I'm not at work. This is something that I do when my youngest daughter is with her father, because hello, it's easier to record without a toddler running around with you, okay? But like, I love this space that I'm creating. I love the community that I'm creating, and I'm not going to stop until I see my vision come into fruition. And so that's just one example, but I'm able to do that because I've gone through periods. I'm able to talk about being the center of your life because I know what it feels like when you're not the center. I know what it feels like to feel tired and overstimulated and overwhelmed every day, and that you don't really have a safe space where you can get out all the things that you need to get out because you're trying to make something work and it's just not working. But sometimes the scariest thing to do is just step out on faith. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your capabilities. And are these easy things to do? No, but they're not impossible to do either. So down in the comments, I want you to let me know how you take care of yourself. What are your self-care routines? What are your skincare routines? What are your hobbies? What are your passions? And let's chat about them below. Please remember to hit like on the video, okay? And then you can follow me at Becoming Bree on TikTok and Instagram. It's B3 COMING, Bree, BRI. And I'll see you in our next video. Bye.